Hello. Today we've gone out of our vault and taken many books, all related to the same theme. A remarkable man named Waldo Hunt and a series of books he did in the 60s and 70s for Hallmark Cards and for Random House. It represented a renaissance in the American pop-up book story. In 1969, Waldo Hunt sold his company to Hallmark Cards, which continued to produce a long series of titles, including reprinting some of the earlier Random House ones. Many of them initially dealt with children's tales. Here's one that was Peter Pan. I particularly like the pop-up ship that's in the middle of it. There's Captain Hook and the plank you might walk off of. The next title I'm going to show is from Cinderella, where we get to see the full-dimensional castle pop up, which I'm sure little girls like, little boys too, for that matter. He didn't just do pop-ups, he also did movables. In this Alice in Wonderland, we have an example of the Cheshire Cat. There he is, and now it's just the smile. And also in this book, there are other kinds of traditional pop-ups like this one, which I really like, of the Mad Hatter's Tea Party. Hallmark Books did a whole variety of subjects, not just children's stories, many of them dealing with science or with popular movies or other items. Here's one on American landmarks. I like the beginning when you open up to see the Statue of Liberty. And the next scene, which goes back to our beginnings, as you open the book, there's the Mayflower jutting into the sea. One other title I thought was interesting in this book is Astronauts on the Moon. Of course, this was published not long after man first landed on the moon. And there we are, the shuttle way up in the sky, and down below the lunar module coming to land on the moon. And then I guess eventually I had to go back up. So Waldo Hunt went on to form a company called Intervisual Communications, which became very important throughout the 80s and 90s and until his death in 2009 at designing and popularizing pop-up books for all sorts of publishers. Upon his death, the LA Times, in the obituary of Waldo Hunt, said one of his favorite books of all time that he worked on was this one, Haunted House. And I guess it was because this was the annual report in 1992, a very special edition of that book. I happened to have been a stockholder at that time in Intervisual Communications, and I had the pleasure of meeting Waldo Hunt many times. And I remember once being in his office and him talking about how much he liked this book, and for good reason. I'm going to show several scenes from it. Here's an opening one of a staircase to the haunted house with the spider hanging down low. And then as you enter the house, good action with this gorilla popping out. And in the bathroom, wouldn't want to meet that creature in this haunted house. But my favorite element of this book was on the last spread, and I hope the video captures this, because listen to the sound that gets created as the bat flies up. And do you hear that? The saw trying to get out of the box. Anyway, some of the treasures of Waldo Hunt, Random House, and Hallmark Books. Thanks, until next time.